How about Donald Hoffman's? Do you know Donald Hoffman? The Case Against Reality, and yours is called Reality is Not What It Seems.
He definitely have a number of very good points and some radical conclusions from those. I know about a little bit about his ideas, but I have not read his book, so I'm not sure I have a good gauging of exactly what you want to draw from that. But let me say the core of what I think. We interact with the external world around us through our senses and through our the way the brain interpret what we see around us. And I think it's a very good and very deep observation to recognize, to realize that what we call the objects around us are to a large extent mental constructs that our brain puts together on the basis of how useful this construct have been in our evolution to allow us to survive. So, in a sense, we're seeing a movie of what is outside, which is vaguely related to what is outside, whatever it's happening outside, and is deeply colored by our reading of it. This is an observation which has been made in philosophy many times. In fact, it's one of the main things for which Kant is known. Kant is considered a major philosopher in the Western tradition, but it's others before and after have made this observation, and I think it's important. And I think this has to be deeply interiorized, even if it seems what has a natural reaction to that. I mean, there's a chair there, and of course, I mean, I am saying, well, come on, the chair is there independent of me, and there's a sense in which this is not true. The chair is my particular reading of what is going on for a number of reasons, for a variety of reasons that he goes in details and they're very right.
So the disagreement is
now, so far, I'm completed with him. Now there are 2 points. One is that, all right, so what, then what? And there are 2 points I would not really object, but I would say how I think about this. First of all, that this does not mean that our mental world is more solid and known than the external. Because exactly the same arguments employed here for the external world, exactly the same arguments work for our mental world. Namely, there is nothing certain either in what we see as our sense of ourself or perception. These are also complicated cultural biological construction that our representation of the world has. So our representation of the world include a notion of myself, a notion of my representation, a notion of my representations, which are all notions that were developed culturally. So the same criticism against the existence of outside objects, I think, hold for the existence of the self and my mental world. Okay? So this leaves us where? I think, and this is my arrival point, this leaves us, in my opinion, toward the anti-foundationalism that we talked at the beginning of this story. Namely, we should not ask the wrong question. The wrong question is, what is really, really, really outside there? That's a wrong question. The right question is, I see a mirror. Okay. It seems to me that a chair is the other side of the mirror. Is it true or false? No, it's false. It's an illusion. The chair is not the other side of the mirror. The chair is here. Okay? The chair is really here and falsely outside of the mirror. That's correct. Okay? we can play this game step by step by realizing that things are not like that. We're misunderstanding. There's a better way of understanding that. They're not like that. They misunderstand. There's a better way. If we ask the question, okay, so what is the ultimate reality? Independently of any representation, that's not a good question, in my opinion. That's a wrong question. Reality is that chair. The reality is that sun. The reality is that chair in the mirror. And their relations, their relative relations. So I would jump out of this discussion, okay, and distinguish, if you want, the apparent reality and the ultimate reality, and forget about the ultimate reality. We're talking about this apparent reality, and that's what we call reality. Reality is the ensemble of this phenomena of which I am part, and you're part, and the chair is part. And all the way we understand better and better and better. We can say they are made by atoms, fantastic. We can say the atoms are quantum mechanical objects that interact with us, fantastic. We get more and more complexity of the phenomena, but if we ask the question, where do we ground all that? What is the ultimate reality? Forget about this. So if the case against reality that he's making is the case against the idea of an ultimate reality out there and in favor of an ultimate reality for our impressions, I disagree. Because there is a good way of understanding our impression as caused by the chair. That chair. Not a metaphysical chair. Or if you want, in Kantian terms, who cares about the noumenon? We care about the phenomena. What we call reality is a phenomena, not an hypothetical thing behind the phenomena. That's my take on it.
When I hear that, well, here's what I'm thinking. Okay, you said the chair is not really behind the mirror. It's really over to the left of me. Okay.
Yeah. And that's what I mean by really.
Right. We have this notion of really. We have this notion of reality. Then if I was to get you or anyone else, just say people in general, what are some facts of what is a part of reality? See, we're trying to derive a definition from looking at, well, I say that this microphone is really in front of me. And then I may point to other objects and say that really is the case. But then, well, what if there's an inconsistency in what we call a part of our reality and not? Then which one do we take as more? Why do we favor this microphone being really in front of me, but Santa Claus not really existing?
No, you have. I got exactly the point. I think we have to use really.
Is it coherence? Just which ones makes it cohere together? Consistent? What is it?
I think we have to realize that really and reality, it can be used in different.
Right.
We do use at different levels, and it's fine. We do at different levels. For instance, did Hamlet really killed his uncle? Yes, he did really kill his uncle. I mean, if you tell me, Hamlet did not kill his uncle at the end of the play, I say, no, he did. He really did. Look, I come with Shakespeare text and said, it's written here. I'm killing you, Uncle Boom. Okay. So I'm using really. Okay. It's real. And now you tell me, come on, it's not real because it's a play. I say, of course it's not real. Okay. So when am I right? When I say I'm real, when I say I'm both right in both cases. I'm just meaning two different real. So real is in a context. If you want to take real outside the context, what is really, really, really real behind all the context, that has no meaning.
If you enjoyed that clip, then the full podcast is out right now. You can click around here. Enjoy. Subscribe to Theories of Everything to get notified of upcoming podcasts, as there are new full-length podcasts every week on the topics of mathematics, physics, consciousness, free will, and AI.